So today's video is about the mesoderm topic. So first of all, that we all know that this is the ectoderm, this is the endoderm, and this is the midline space between the ectoderm and endoderm. And here we know that intraembryonic mesoderm lies in the midline space between the ectoderm and endoderm. So here that you already know that in the midline space between ectoderm and endoderm, the intraembryonic mesoderm is present. So here you can notice that this intraembryonic mesoderm separates ectoderm from endoderm. So I have written, so the intraembryonic mesoderm separates ectoderm and endoderm. But here that there are some exceptions, that in this midline space that there are some regions, especially two regions, where this intraembryonic mesoderm is absent, and as a result that this ectoderm and endoderm come in direct contact with each other. So therefore basically exceptions, that there are two regions where intraembryonic mesoderm is absent, and these two regions so here remain bilaminar, and so here do communication with each other as they are not separated. Now here, so this is the rough diagram for imagination. So here you can see here that this is the ectoderm, this is the mesoderm, and this is the endoderm. But here you can notice that these are the two regions where these two ectoderm and endoderm, they are in contact, direct contact with each other. And here also basically mesoderm is absent. And the two regions are buccopharyngeal membrane, which is a future procaudal plate, and the cloacal membrane. So therefore that I can assure that by seeing the diagram you can so here realize what are the two regions where this intraembryonic mesoderm is absent, and this ectoderm and endoderm, they are in direct contact with each other. So the first one is the buccopharyngeal membrane, and this is the cloacal membrane. Now so here that here three layers present, but here only two layers present. So therefore that this region is also known as bilaminar disc. So that's all I've written, that regions of germ discs that remain bilaminar, that means when mesoderm is absent. The first one is the buccopharyngeal membrane, and the second one is the cloacal membrane. So the further information, that in the procaudal plate the mesoderm is absent, and this procaudal plate remains thin and later converted to buccopharyngeal membrane. So as I already mentioned, that this buccopharyngeal membrane is the future procaudal plate. Now the second one is about the cloacal membrane. But here simply see this diagram, that this is a procaudal plate, this is a notocaudal process, and here this is the primitive streak, and this is the primitive node, and this is the blastospore, and here this is the connecting stalk. So here you can notice that by seeing the diagram, that this cloacal membrane location, that it is located between this primitive stick and the connecting stalk. So therefore I have written that cloacal membrane located between connecting stalk and primitive strip. Now here that in the further embryology course you will have to so here study what are the derivatives or derivatives of cloacal membrane, and simply what are derivatives of buccopharyngeal membrane. Now as you can see here that this is the diagram. So here that this is the ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, and this is the notochord. Now here basically you can see here that in this midline space along with the mesoderm or the intraembryonic mesoderm, that is notochord is present. And here now you will have to study or find that on the basis of this notochord also basically that this intraembryonic mesoderm undergoes subdivisions. So here now the subdivisions of intraembryonic mesoderm. So here you can see here that this is the ectoderm, this is the endoderm. Now here this is the notochord, and also all these are the so here parts of intraembryonic mesoderm, but they got subdivided. So first of all that you can see here that this is the notochord, and here and that this green color structure is basically paraxial mesoderm. So here you can notice that on this either side of the notochord that is paraxial mesoderm present. Now you simply see this diagram. So here that this is the center, so here midline structure, this is the medial, and for this side this is the lateral, this is the medial, and for this side this is the lateral and this is the medial. So these are the lateral sides. Now here you can see here that in the extreme lateral part of this disc, so here basically the mesoderm present, and that mesoderm which is present in the extreme lateral part is known as lateral plate mesoderm. Now here, and you can also notice that so here that between this paraxial mesoderm and lateral plate mesoderm, that is one more structure is present, basically intermediate mesoderm. So therefore basically subdivisions of intraembryonic mesoderm, if you want to know what are these, basically paraxial mesoderm, lateral plate mesoderm, and here intermediate mesoderm. So therefore I have written that the intraembryonic mesoderm subdivide into three parts: paraxial mesoderm, lateral plate mesoderm, and intermediate mesoderm. So here further information is that paraxial mesoderm, here that this is the notochord, and on either side of the notochord, so here the intraembryonic mesoderm which is present is known as, so here paraxial mesoderm. So here mesoderm on the either side of notochord becomes thick and called paraxial mesoderm. See here also. Now here, now in the extreme lateral part, as you know, so here basically lateral plate mesoderm is present. So here I have written that, so here mesoderm lying in the extreme lateral part of the germ disc and becomes thin, and that mesoderm is known as lateral plate mesoderm. Now here that you can notice that between this lateral plate mesoderm and paraxial mesoderm, so here that is intermediate mesoderm is present. So therefore that mesoderm lying between paraxial mesoderm and lateral plate mesoderm, and that mesoderm is known as intermediate mesoderm. So here that simply that, so this is a notochord, paraxial mesoderm, lateral plate mesoderm, and this is the intermediate mesoderm. It is thickened and it is thinner. So here just for information. And this intermediate mesoderm is like a longitudinal strip. Now about an intraembryonic coelom. So now that previous diagram, if you see that this is the lateral plate mesoderm. So here that earlier that in this lateral plate mesoderm no cavity, not a single space was present. But now you can notice that in this lateral plate mesoderm, so here basically a cavity appeared, a large cavity appeared, and that is known as intraembryonic coelom. And you can also notice that so here that due to this intraembryonic coelom, that this lateral plate mesoderm also gets subdivided. Now, so before understanding the subdivision part, so here that you should understand that this is the ectoderm and this is the endoderm. Now here that this layer of a lateral plate mesoderm is in contact with the ectoderm, and this is known as parietal layer, and this is in contact with the endoderm, and this is known as visceral layer. So therefore that I have written that, so here one is a parietal layer and a second one is a visceral layer. Now here you can also notice that I have written that is a large cavity appearing in the lateral plate mesoderm, that is a large cavity appearing in a lateral plate mesoderm called intraembryonic coelom. So therefore I have written that due to intraembryonic coelom also the lateral plate mesoderm subdivided into two parts. So the first one is a parietal layer and the second one is a visceral layer, and you can notice that this parietal layer is in contact with ectoderm, and this visceral layer is in contact with the endoderm. So here see, so here that this parietal layer contact with ectoderm and this visceral layer contact with endoderm. That's all about. So therefore that today we discussed about a mesoderm. So here basically that what is mesoderm, each location, but here basically, and there are two regions. So there are two regions where mesoderm absent, intraembryonic mesoderm is absent, and here ectoderm and endoderm are in direct contact, basically buccopharyngeal membrane and the cloacal membrane. And also here we also studied about the, so here location of cloacal membrane. Now next we studied about the subdivisions of the intraembryonic mesoderm, basically paraxial mesoderm, lateral plate mesoderm, intermediate mesoderm. And then we studied about the intraembryonic coelom. So here intraembryonic coelom, and here and how this intraembryonic coelom divides the lateral plate mesoderm into two layers. So here parietal layer and visceral layer, and their definitions. That's all about. Thank you.